Welcome back. In this lesson, let's start writing some JavaScript. So before we begin, let's open up our editor and we're just going to quickly run through how our files are going to be structured. So opening up our editor, we can see here that I've created a folder called JS101. I've created an index file in here, and the index file is going to allow us to actually run the JavaScript, because with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, all we need is a browser in order to run the code. And I've got just a basic format here for HTML. So I've got my opening HTML, head tags, body, and then I've got a link to a CSS file, and I've got a link to a JavaScript file. So I'm just going to remove out the plurals of those, and we can see just as we're linking to CSS, we do the same thing with JavaScript. With JavaScript, we have a few other options as well, where we can write the script directly within the HTML document, and this is going to work the same way. So the idea is the same thing, that as you're using styles, or if you're using any styling, you can type the styling within your HTML document. You can also do the same thing with JavaScript. It'll work the exact same way. So there's really no difference. The only thing is that it is a little bit cleaner, and when you are linking out to these external files, you have the ability to reuse them in other HTML files. So that's a real bonus and a real benefit for linking out to various files. So let's go ahead and create our script file. So remember again that we do have our script here that we can type. So I'm going to just remove that. I'm going to also remove out that style there. And I've already created a style page. So let's create a blank JavaScript page. And when we create a JavaScript page, we don't actually need to have any tags in here. So this is an important thing to remember when you're first getting used to typing JavaScript, that this is going to be a JS file. So it's not an HTML file. So we don't need to have opening and closing script tags. And then other than that, everything is going to look the same way. So let's go ahead and save this. So go ahead and save it within that same root directory, because I was just linking to that root directory. And it was called script.js. So that will give us the ability to link over to that script.js file, and then just go ahead and open it up in the browser, and just to make sure that everything is working. And we see that I've already got the DevTools open. So again, to open up DevTools on a Windows machine, you press Control-Shift-I. And on a Mac, you can press Command-Opt-I, and that will open up DevTools. And you have a few options with DevTools as well, where you can dock it. So I usually prefer to dock it at the bottom, but you can also dock it in a separate window. You can dock it to the left, you can dock it to the right. So again, depending on what your preferences are, dock your DevTools in a way that it's not interfering with the output of your HTML, so you can still see that HTML, but then you can still get that interaction with your code within the DevTools, so you've got enough space there as well. And I can also make it bigger and smaller, so I am going to be doing that throughout the course, so that the code is more and more readable, depending on how much code I'm writing and depending on what I'm writing. So I'll make it bigger and smaller within the course, so that we can see the code that's being written. So basically that's it, and we're ready to begin writing JavaScript. So next lesson, we're going to get into writing our first JavaScript code, and I'm going to show you the basic primitive types of JavaScript and how they're used within coding. So that's coming up in the next lesson.